Alrighty, so thank you for joining me today. It's just going to be 4 questions, probably very short. My best Instagram friend, Harry X, asks me 3 of the questions. The first one is, in creating this album, did you ever feel like you might not be able to achieve what you had in mind? And if so, did you make any cuts or adjustments to your original idea? So, yeah, I kind of, changed my mind as far as, aesthetics were gonna go. I kind of had, a rock Power Rangers um, type theme, and I wanted to include, each song as, a dinosaur at the time. But, as far as, as far as the album goes, sometimes I feel I don't feel like this is, a really good enough vibe for trying to, make sure that, we're not gonna have, an apocalypse or anything. And sometimes I wonder if that's, if I've been, brainwashed, or, if I really should have been thinking that, I kind of do shame myself on stuff like that. But as far as what I had in mind, I feel like I did it, but, I mean... The second part asks, did you make any cuts or adjustments to the original idea? Yes, I just cut it out with the whole dinosaur thing, basically. And I'm trying to think, as far as the song, I think it would help me if I looked at the song list. Let's see. Previous. Giant Lotus. Well, I didn't cut out from the original idea that much, other than the dinosaur thing. Did you make any cuts or adjustments there? That's all I really did. Cut from it, and I had a lot of different demo ideas for different songs. I was trying to figure out the vibe I wanted. And I kind of went with the electronic with classical rock and jazz vibes. Did I make any cuts or adjustments? Otherwise, no. But I'm listening to it. It's if I were to listen to it again recently, I'd be I would have done that differently. I probably would have gone harder or something, Harry X also asks me, what was the first and last addition to the album? Also, did you have a hard time choosing the final track list? This I would need to actually look at, because there are a couple songs that I decided to include that I made years ago. So that includes Giant Lotus, and This Is How the Grass Grows, and Inner Daughter. I'm trying to look at what else. So those 3 are years old. So the oldest one is Giant Lotus. Inner Daughter comes probably a few years after that. And then This Is How the Grass Grows is few years back from today. Giant Lotus is over a decade old, basically. Also, did you have a hard time choosing a final track list? No, because I did it kind of differently. I kind of asked myself, what kind of plan did I want to have for the album? And then I asked myself what would fit perfectly to what I'm talking about. So in that way, I feel like I achieved at the time what I was looking to do. So it wasn't really that hard to achieve the final, or choose the final track list. Harry X again also asks and lets me know, congrats, it's your 5th anniversary of Serpathway. Have you thought of anything to celebrate this milestone? Answer's no. Honestly, not really. I kind of celebrate little stuff all the time, but for this, feel like it would be nice if I did plan something, but now I'm yeah, no. Lately I'm kind of also going through a little bit of a crisis where I feel like my past work a lot of it, there's just something that's just not clicking with me anymore. So there's that, and so I'm kind of punishing myself by going like, no, just keep working harder. And as far as the celebration, like, now that I think of it, it would be nice to do some kind of like like a new song or something. I don't know, but I mean, like, I'm kind of being an adult and being like, well, crap, I don't feel like celebrating. It sucks. I want to, but I can't think of anything. So this next question is from my good friend from Instagram named Anton. He asks about your journey with gender. Has it been linear, or did you at some point face some of those questions? And if not, how did the inspiration come from? So I believe what happened was like with Anton. I mean, I could be wrong. He can correct me if I'm wrong anytime he wants. But basically, what I feel happened was he heard my song Testosterone and was like, okay, so how did that pathway work, basically? And what I have to say to that is, I kind of say it in my chorus, I was once a boy trapped as a girl. At that time, I felt transgender. But then also, I kind of had the weird incidents where I took birth control pills, it gave me estrogen, and I started to feel more balanced about it. So I guess my gender, I see it actually as an equation. I know a lot of people go like, why on earth would somebody use math? But like with enough testosterone and then enough estrogen eventually later in life, it was like testosterone plus estrogen equals balance. But I mean, like, you gotta also look at like how much is in my system. I felt like I had more testosterone as a kid, but I still had some estrogen. But then growing up, I had more estrogen. I don't know if I'm being redundant or if it's answering, and I've been really disorganized lately, but yeah, like, the inspiration to make that song was actually like I performed at a Pride event actually in late June, and so I kind of felt inspired to be like, okay, so how do I fit into LGBTQIA, and what is a song I could make that would be helpful to others? And I realized basically, like, when I'm singing, you don't have to be anybody. I've learned basically the hard way a great message that, like, you just don't, like, you might not feel like what people are telling you is right, and so you don't have to have that as your ego. In fact, you don't have to have ego. Thanks so much for listening. I really hope this helped out. If you have any more questions, you can feel free to message me, email me, maybe even write in the comments. Any of, like, thoughts, questions, anything.